Yeah, we're excited to, open the season here in less than 2 weeks. I think that it'll be another exciting Sun Belt, conference play as we've always have really 14 dogs fighting for one bone and it's always a very ultra competitive conference with a lot of great players and a lot of great coaches.
We'll open up now for questions from our media. For our media, please use the raise hand function. We'll call on you to ask those questions. We'll start it off with Shane Metlin.
Hey, Dustin. In this day and age when it's kind of difficult to have a roster of players maybe that really well over the course of, a lot of years. I look at your staff and it looks like you've got guys that, you've either been with for a long time or you add Tim to the staff. I know you guys have the Wofford connection and everything. Is that kind of increasing in importance as you kind of put together a coaching staff to just have people that you really know, really trust, and have that longer, deeper connection with, if you maybe can't have it as much with the players anymore?
Yeah, Shane, I think it's a great question. And, we've been fortunate. I think I've got a lot of quality coaches. I think I've got a lot of future Division I head coaches on my staff. I just think that the coaching profession is really ultra competitive, to quote, move up. I also think that our administration has done a really good job of, investing in our coaching staff and investing in people to really make it to where, to go run your own program or to maybe coach at the Power Four, level is maybe the quote next move. But certainly we've got, the continuity that we've been able to have as a staff is certainly very important. I want those guys to move up and run their own program one day, but certainly, I think that the alignment with staff and, the continuity of coaching and with the staff and is very critical today.
Thank you.
Let's go over to Adam Miller.
Coach Kerns, you're now 2 years removed from a regular season title in this league. You had a 5-year player like CJ Huntley in your program who's now, starting to make some ground, playing preseason in the NBA. You're going to have a different type of team where you're not going to have maybe a 5-year player in your program, but what has kind of been different about this preseason versus maybe previous preseasons where you have guys that have been staples in the program for years and now you're, meshing some of these new guys that have been a few places, but also maybe players that are still a year or so in the program?
Yeah, I think as we all navigate this new, era of college athletics, there's going to be years where we're going to be able to have some continuity. This year, we're able to retain a really good core group. I think that, all teams at all levels go through, I was reading that Baylor's got 13 new players. I think that it happens at all levels and all, teams at times. But, certainly someone like CJ Huntley, we're proud of that, stayed here for 5 years and is, on the opening night roster with the Phoenix Suns tonight, has certainly been really, valuable for our program that you can do it from the Sun Belt, that you can do it by staying. And, talking with over 20 NBA teams about him, I think it was very interesting the fact that a lot of NBA teams commented about how it's less work for them, that they really only had to call one coach and one strength coach and one trainer and how they really enjoyed and kind of thought that CJ was different in a good way, that certainly he stayed at the same program and can do it from the Sun Belt. And so I think that was a really positive news for those type of stories. And so, I think that, certainly as we all continue to, certainly navigate this new era of college athletics, there's going to be some seasons we're going to have a bunch of new players. There's going to be some seasons maybe we just have a few. I think that we all have to just, certainly continue to adjust and, stay true to our core values.
Any final questions for Coach Kerns? All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks. Go Mountaineers, take the stairs.